Do you keep dying in ranked and don't know why? If so, then you clicked on the right video. I am one of the top ranked players in NA this season, and today I'm going to be covering 10 different ways to win every fight in ranked, to guarantee that you watching this video, yes, you who keeps losing fights in ranked, never loses a fight again. So if you guys do enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, go check out my other socials, use code Farley, but now onto the video. So first off, if you want to start winning fights in ranked, you need to learn how to end fights as fast as possible. Because with all of the new movement items in the game, third parties are basically inevitable. So here's a quick example on how I end fights super quickly. So in this fight right here, for example, as you can see, an opponent in front of me just picked up a kill. So I'm going to push over to him on his right side, and then he's going to swap the hard mats and he's going to create space. Now when I push up to this player's wall, I want to bait him to peek. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip up the cone in front of me, and then I'm going to create a box behind that cone. What I'm going to do from this point out is edit a peanut butter peek, but then I'm just going to sit on the cone and hold the reset and play patient. And I'm going to wait until this player makes a wide edit, and when he does, I can reset the cone, giving myself a good peek, and I can pump the player, cracking him. After cracking this player, I realized I threw a sprite down earlier, which means I have dashes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run towards my opponent's wall while spraying, and then when the wall breaks, I'm going to dash past him into the back of his box. This is going to make the player whiff his shot, and now I'm able to easily pump him in the back, and I'm able to pick up a free kill. So make sure you're doing things like this so that you can come out on top in all of your fights. Moving on now, let's talk about the best way to consistently win fights in ranked, and that is by making protected peeks. Protected peeks will guarantee that you win every single fight you take in ranked. So in this first fight right here, as you can see, I'm at the Supernova Academy. There's a player above me. I'm going to hit a scanner so I can see where he is, and I'm going to start to build up to him while covering my head. When I cover my head now, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to look at where he is. Now that I know where he is, I'm going to build up towards him while covering my head, and I'm going to look over to my right and see he's not on the ramp. So I'm instantly going to push up, and then I'm going to ramp him off. After ramping this player off, I'm then going to hit a double edit on him while moving to the left. As you can see from my POV, this gives me a right hand peek, but from the other player's POV, he can barely see me. This means I can easily pump the player and then crack him. After cracking this player, I'm now going to set up the perfect peek by editing the floor in front of me. What this will do now is it will set me up for a god peek. You can see my POV, I can see the player easily, but from the other player's POV, you can clearly see I am fully protected behind the floor. And this means I'm able to pump the player one more time, get him super weak, and then I'm able to just easily spray him and then pick up an easy kill off spawn. So if you want to start winning fights consistently in ranked, make sure you're using protected peeks like this so you come out on top in all of your fights. Moving on now, let's talk about the biggest issue that players run into in ranked. How do you fight against someone that is better than you? So an example of how to fight against someone that's better than you would be right here. As you can see, this player is up on high ground above me. I want to take high ground off him. So I'm going to place a double edit in front of me, double edit it, and then place a wall in front of me while flipping the cone. This will catch the player off guard because he thinks I'm trying to triple edit. This allows me now to take high ground off him. And when I take high ground off him, I'm going to place a cone in front of him, and I notice he's trying to back up. So I'm going to try and double edit on him, but he reads me like a book and he's able to headshot me in the face. At this point, I'm weak, and if I try and box up in mid right now, he's going to kill me. So I need to look for counter damage. So what I'm going to do is move to the left, and I'm going to set up a double edit, but this time I'm going to learn from my mistake. So when I set up this double edit, I'm going to place a wall in front of me to block his shot, and then I'm going to back up while editing the front tile of this floor. This is now going to set me up for a god peek because you can see the other player's POV right now. He literally can't see me at all. This means I'm easily able to jump in the air, pumping the player, cracking him, and getting him super low. And when this player runs away from me, I can't let him med up because he's a good player, and if he meds up, he might win the fight. And when the player runs away, I'm able to cut him off, and now he's stuck on my wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the player swing on my wall. From this point now, I'm going to hit a pre-fire on the player. This is going to allow me to pump him before he can do damage to me while I pick up the kill. And you'll notice after I pick up that kill, I move backwards and place a wall in between me and him just in case I didn't die. So make sure when you're fighting in ranked against players that are better than you or on the same skill level as you, you learn from your mistakes and counter them with peeks like this. Another big question a lot of players ask about ranked is how do I fight against aggressive players? Now the best way that you can fight against aggressive players is by learning how to turn defense into offense. So in this fight right here, for an example, as you can see, I'm on low ground below my opponent, applying pressure, and eventually he's going to drop on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm instantly going to swap to my hard mats, and I'm going to create a 2x1 of space. This is going to allow me to have multiple boxes to fight from, and it will give me more time to react. So when this player drops on me, he's going to place a cone above me, and he's going to try and swing on my wall like any normal player would. Now obviously, when I'm sitting in this box, I obviously don't want to edit this wall or the cone in front of me because he'll easily just pump me. So I want to go in his blind spot to make sure he can't see me when I edit. So to do this, I'm going to edit the wall below him and I'm going to turn to my left and side jump. This is going to catch the player off guard. I'm able to get a wall in between me and him, and then I'm able to give myself a right hand peek on this wall right here. I'm able to then pump him and crack him. And after applying a bunch of pressure, I was able to make this player run away in the open, spray him, and give myself a free kill. So make sure when you're fighting opponents in ranked, you go into their blind spots so that you can catch them off guard and piece them up for free kills. Next up, let's go over the best way to catch your opponents off guard and pick up free kills, and that is by learning how to bait your opponents into peeking. So let's use this fight right here for an example. As you can see, there's an opponent box up in front of me. I'm going to hit a scanner to find out where he is, and he's going to run back into his old space and box up. Now when he boxes up, I really want to avoid getting third-partied here, so I'm going to switch to brick, and I'm going to create space around his box so that I'm super safe while taking the wall. From this point now, I'm going to start swinging on this player's floor, and he's going to double it on me. So I'm going to place a wall in between me and him, and when he sprays, I'm going to hit him with a pre-fire and hit him for 34 damage. From this point now, I need to bait this player to peek. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip up the cone in front of me, and then I'm going to edit the wall to my left. This is going to make the player think that I'm leaving the box to go create space. But when this player thinks I'm going to leave, he's obviously going to try and edit on me. So all I have to do is reset the cone in front of me, and I can easily pump this player in the head, giving me a free kill. So make sure when you're fighting in ranked, you learn how to do things like this so that you can come out on top in all of your fights. Moving on now, I want to talk about probably the most important part of this video, and that is by learning how to not be greedy. Not being greedy is the best way to counter third parties in ranked. So in this fight right here, I'm in the center of the Supernova Academy, I'm getting sprayed by one player in front of me, and then there's another player in the bunker down behind me and below me. So to avoid getting third partied and griefed, I'm going to instantly swap to my metal and then create a 2x1 of space so I have time to react if I get jumped on. Since I created this space, when the other player pushes up to me, I'm able to make a quick window edit, pump him, but after I pump him, I'm going to make sure that I reset and then hold the wall. The reason resetting this wall is super important is because I have 100-100 right now, but if I get cracked and this other player hears that, he's going to grief me and he's going to kill me. So now that I reset my wall and I play patient, I'm able to edit, place a cone below me and a cone above his head. This blocks him. I'm now able to pump him, spray him, and pick up a kill. Now after I pick up this kill, obviously the other player is going to try and third party me. So it's very important that I'm not greedy here and I instantly swap to my hard mats and I create space in metal. This way when the other player does third party me, I have time to react. And you'll notice since I created this space, he goes and swings on the new space and I'm able to go back into my old builds, catch him off guard, pump him in the head, and now he's super weak. And at this point, I see he's placed a ramp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip up the cone in front of me and then place a cone. This will then block the player from then going up. And now I have the advantage. I can easily swing around, change angles, and pump him and then pick up a free kill. Moving on now, I want to talk about one of the best ways to catch your opponents off guard in ranked. And that is by learning how to phase into your opponent's box. So a perfect example of this would be right here. I'm sitting in my box. I don't know where the other people around me are. So I'm going to hit my scanner so I can see the player below me. This allows me to see the player below me crouching. So I'm going to scout through my cone, make sure there's no one else around, and then I'm going to drop down onto him. When I drop down onto him, I'm going to track my crosshair on the player, so if he makes a bad edit like he does here, I'm able to pump him. But when I pump this player, I place this cone in front of me. What I'm going to do from this point is I'm going to edit the wall in front of me, and I'm not going to go swing on his wall. What I'm going to do is flip up the cone in front of me like a ramp. And what I can do from this point is now jump up while spraying the wall at the same time. The momentum will then carry me in and phase me into the box. And since I have such a huge health advantage, I was able to easily win this fight and then pump the player and then pick up a free kill. So make sure to end fights quickly off spawn. You think about things like this so you come out on top in every single fight. Moving on now, let's talk about the main reason that you die a lot in ranked, and that is because you take dumb 50-50s that you don't need to. A lot of players will make the mistake of just jumping into a box when they don't need to and they'll die. So really quickly, here's a perfect example of how I avoid 50-50s. So an example of how to do this in ranked would be right here. I see a player in front of me, I'm going to push up to him while applying pressure. I realize he's only in one box, so I'm going to build double edits around him to cut off all of his angles. Now from this point, the player is going to steal the floor below me, and from my position, it looks like he's about to set up a double edit, and from this position, this would be a 50-50. So to avoid the 50-50, all I'm going to do is place a wall in front of me, and obviously he sees that I'm on that wall, and he's going to pull out his shotgun to try and pump me. So I'm going to change the angle up and catch him off guard. So I move to the left, and I make a window edit. This allows me to pump the player straight in the head, hitting him for 135. He's now super weak. I know he's one bullet, so I'm just going to spray my AR, jump in, and then shoot him once, and then pick up a free kill. So make sure when you're fighting in ranked, you avoid 50-50 scenarios like this and take good angles so you can win fights. Moving on now, let's talk about the final way that you can become a god fighter in this video, and that is by learning how to cut off angles. Cutting off angles is the best way to force your opponents into mistakes that you can counter on. As you can see right here, I'm boxed up in some brick. This other player sees me and he's going to start to push me. When this player pushes me, I'm going to play patient and I'm going to let him drop onto my wall. When he drops onto my wall, now I'm going to edit up and I'm going to make sure to block this player off, and now I have high ground on him. This will now force the player to now box up. And when this player boxes up, I notice there's no cone in his box. So what I'm going to do is, as I drop onto the player's wall, I'm going to swing twice while holding out a ramp. What this means is that when the wall breaks, it's going to throw a ramp in his face, and now he has two options. He can either stay in the box with the ramp, or he's forced to leave the box. And if the player decides to stay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut off every single angle that this player can leave from. So I cut off the left, I cut off the right, and since I already have the top covered, the only place he can go is below. So I'm going to drop down, place a wall in between me and him. I'm then going to edit the wall and swing once and then reset, because I didn't know if this player was just going to drop on me and try and 50-50 me. And when I realized he's not doing that and he's trying to break the ramp, now I'm going to go in on this player and I'm going to break the floor. I realize he's moved to the left, so I edit him down, drop him, and then I'm going to make sure to reset the wall in his face to make sure he can't pump me back. And when he shoots, he now has shotgun delay, so I can easily pump him in the face, get him super weak, and then just spray him and then pick up a free kill. So make sure when you're fighting in ranked, you look for things like this, cut off all the angles, and force your opponents to make mistakes which you can counter on. Moving on now, I want to talk about one of the biggest mistakes I see players make in ranked, and that is when you pick up a kill, not creating space. An example of why this would be a mistake would be right here. As you can see, I spray this player in the back and I crack him. This other player obviously sees that. Now obviously the player is going to run over and box the loot, but the issue is here, he doesn't create enough space, and that means that when he tries to go for the loot, he's always going to get pressured and sprayed by other players. Like right here, I notice he doesn't create space, so I spray him in the back and I crack him. Now this player is super weak, and now he's going to go try and create space, but you'll notice he's in the enemy's builds, and it's too little too late, and I'm able to pump him, spray him in the back, and then pick up a free kill. So make sure you learn from this guy's mistakes and don't do the same thing yourself. That's going to wrap up this video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll be live later today. And if you want to see it instantly become better at Fortnite, go check this video out. But with that, I'm out. Peace.